Hi, everyone. My name is Kiara Tibbet, and I'm a junior on the BU women's basketball team and the president of BU Athletics Student Athletes of Color Group. I'm also joined by Kristen and Christy. And welcome to Let's Chat with Student Athletes of Color. In celebration of Black History Month, Let's Chat will be hosted throughout the month of February. Each week, we will welcome student athletes from various teams to chat about race, reflection, education, and more, in hopes of creating a space for dialogue and learning across our community. This week, we're joined by women's golf, and I'm going to let you introduce yourselves now.
Hi, I'm Christy. I am captain of BU women's golf team. I am a grad student this year. I am currently in Boston. It just snowed, so it's good to be back. I just got back.
Hi, I'm Kristen, and I am the director of social media. I'm also in golf, and I am a sophomore this year.
Amazing. So I'm really excited to talk about this, especially because Black History Month is coming up. So I just wanted to ask a general question. Over the last year, with the social climate really globally, have you felt comfortable enough to like bring up the topic with your family, friends, or even teammates?
Yes, I think so. I think everybody's receiving how we say it, like everybody's willing to talk about it, and then I think people around me are more passionate about how this is going work like positively. So it's been good for me.
Okay, good.
For me personally, I don't think it's ever something that we can get comfortable talking about. However, I think it's critical and happening nonetheless. And yeah.
So I know my team has a couple different races represented, and I know you guys are actually really unique to our athletic department. And I know, Kristen, we've talked about another time that Tiger Woods is one of the most impactful people in the golf community, and he's a Black man. Do you guys find that interesting that he's also, I don't know much about golf, but I feel like I only see him, like there aren't as many other Black men on the front stage with him. But when you look up to him, do you ever see his race as part of like the discussion, or it's always just golf and his skill and such?
I think it's very powerful we have like a Black representative as one of the best in history. And personally, he's given me motivation at a very young age to do better. And I don't think race really um, mattered for me when I was like young
Mm.
um, or now, but I don't think race really like determines whether like a person is good at something or not, you know?
Mhm.
So no, for me personally.
Yeah, I would say like Tiger Woods is definitely my role model. It's more because of what he has done, especially like um he has had a low time and then he came back and then won like the biggest event for golf again. So that is something that is what he has done, and it, I don't think I don't think it has anything to do with his race for how I respect him. So but I had to admit that I think golf is it's predominantly white
Mm.
sport. And then I think, well, first of all, it was originated from Europe. So maybe that's where it came from. And then maybe there is some like social economic backgrounds. I think like the social circles, how do you call it, social, because it's like a social tool. So I think it does have some, but I think it has been better. Definitely, for me playing tournaments, I have seen more people like not just Black, but also people from Asia, like us.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think, but Tiger Woods is definitely someone who has done what he has done. So that I think that's why he's at his position.
Right, because his skill.
Yeah, and going off of Christy, I think while there's like efforts to make golf more diverse and it is slowly improving, I think it's still in the works. And I think that more effort needs to go into make this sport more diverse and like inclusion friendly.
Yeah, and I think there's a couple sports even here that um it's kind of almost about access because for golf you need a club, you need the ball, you need a course, whereas say like basketball or soccer you just need the ball and like you could make a makeshift hoop or you can play soccer in your backyard. So I think it will be interesting to see in the future if there are more ways to like create better access for other young people to get involved. Because I know I wish I played golf. My mom almost made me play golf in high school because she was like, "This is a life sport, so good for you guys for playing a life sport."
It
Um,
is a lot for, yeah.
yeah.
Why didn't you play golf?
um, I just got a little comfortable, so I was playing like soccer
Mm.
freshman and sophomore year, and then I took my junior year to do nothing, and she was like, "You could do it that year," but then I did volleyball. Um,
Mm,
but I still think it's fun. Like I'll go hit balls with my mom at home just to get the anger out, you know?
that works. That works.
Yeah, maybe one time when COVID's not rampant, we can like go in
Yeah.
the sun
For
because you
sure.
always in the sun. Um, but I was also, I mean, Christy, you touched on it a little bit. You said you've been starting to see more people of color, even Black people, on the courses or tournaments you guys have done. Do you think that that's because of stuff we've been talking about, or it's probably been in the works for a long time to get more people involved? And have you been seeing more men or women? Or I don't know if you guys share tournaments. I'm not sure.
So let me answer the first question. So golf is a long, like it takes a long time to develop. So I wouldn't say it's from the movement recently, but so from at least like competitive golf, I think it's been evolving in the long term, how you call it, in a long period of time. Um, but and the second question, what was the second question?
Um, are you seeing like more men or women, or it's just
Oh, so so golf, it's like a gender sport. So I usually only see female.
okay? I'm learning a lot right now about that. So, um, and in general, did you guys come from like diverse towns or districts or schools, or did you just mostly see people like you?
Well, I'm from China, so in China there are lots of Chinese. But for high school, I went to international high school in Florida, and there's definitely a lot of people who. So I went to a sports academy, so it was an international school, and there were people playing different sports and people from different countries. So that was definitely international. And BU, we don't have to say much about it. It's an international school, so I think I have definitely like opened my eyes ever since high school.
I wouldn't consider my town the most diverse, although I'm from California. I think the racial diversity in La Habra, which is where I live, is predominantly made of white, Hispanic, and Asian, and that goes for my school as well. And I think that my community mostly consisted of those races. Um, but I was in track when I was in high school as well, and I had a couple Black teammates on the team.
Yeah, I think those are both unique experiences. Christy, like you said, you went to like an international school in Florida. And I know the Black Lives Matter movement has not just occurred this last year, but I know it happened also when I was in high school. And did your high school even touch it, or how did they handle that situation? Because I'm pretty sure the situation with Trayvon Martin occurred around like 2016.
Mhm.
And I was still in high school. I don't know if you still were, but was there anyway? And Kristen, you can comment on it too. But like, I know we like wore black and like kind of protested within my school, and we were given that opportunity. But I was just wondering if maybe you guys had similar experiences.
I think for my high school, it wasn't. So I was more exposed when I came to BU. I
Okay.
think it wasn't because it wasn't. I guess it wasn't um, like how we call it because everybody's playing sport. So
Mhm.
I think sport was more of a like a measuring than, you know what I mean? So I wasn't really exposed in high school.
Okay.
Mm.
I think that goes the same for me too. But I think this year definitely opened all our eyes on the matter. And definitely this year, more than ever, we are having more conversations about it. And I think it's good that we have um, this rolling.
I agree. And that kind of like goes into my next question or topic perfectly. Like what made you want to join or come to SAOC meetings this last year? Because I know you were able to make a couple of them. And we were really lucky to have both of you on the calls because then we have a more diverse group and also we can have different conversations, not just around one issue or the other.
I personally wanted to establish myself and show support as an ally for a person of color, further educate myself through this experience on ways I can advocate the values here specifically at BU. And meanwhile, while my teammate is, or my team is predominantly made up of like Asians, um, we are a small, compact team whose presence not meet those like teams consisting of like double digits.
Mhm.
However, I think we're no less valuable, and if anything, we are like made up of highly diverse, like or individuals with highly diverse backgrounds, and what each of us bring to the table is very unique and valuable. And that being said, I just wanted to sort of bring awareness to that, and um, by being a part and initiating conversations.
So adding on to Kristen's, because well, first of all, we're like I am international. Well, I came from like so like whole America is like my second culture. So I don't necessarily understand like the whole history or fully understand like the history and the culture of everything in the States. And then so I at least I came to high school here, but then all of my teammates aren't. So they came straight from high school, and then they started their university in US. So I think for education part, so we are not as you know what I mean? Like we might not know as much as people who are here, and also like just like what Kristen has accidentally done. So we not necessarily know the language as well. So we when we mean something, we don't necessarily like express it, or it might not be perceived the same way we meant. And so I wanted to like join this so that I know more about like what we can say, that's part of it, and also like
Mhm.
how this is looking. So this is like part of it. And also I think because our team is so international that we wanted to show that we are diverse in a different way, definitely not as related, but then we want to show that we are in this together, but what we might come from like a different perspective. So I wanted to represent where we as a team, because we're what we as a team come from. So
What you
we
guys represent, yeah.
yes represent. So we don't mean that we don't mean like bad things, but sometimes maybe we like um so we might not act the way people can receive. So I wanted to just that's why I joined.
No, I think that's like part of our mission, our goal as a BUSAOC, like just making this community as open and welcoming as possible because like I don't know how else you're supposed to learn like unless you have the conversations or ask questions. And if you're not comfortable asking the questions, then there's no progress made. So I'm happy that you feel comfortable enough to come to the meetings and express those things.
Um, I think that uh, best things in life are like on the other side of difficult like conversations, and having these conversations like in a better way is second step to making change that's meaningful around us. But first is obviously to educate. So I remember taking some time off social media last year, like early last year when Black Lives Matter protests started gaining momentum. I took like a leave of absence on social media to um, kind of educate myself on um, some things that I personally need to learn and unlearn in order to be a better advocate. And I think it's crucial that we understand the privilege that shapes like our own view.
Mm.
And that being said, I think taking that time off to learn how to say things and what to say, I think is important. And I think supporting the cause through BUSAOC was like a first step for me to better educate myself and understand what is specifically going on here at BU.
I think we had a lot of conversations last year, and those really benefited a lot of people. And I hope we can keep having those conversations this year, because things have changed, and there's definitely at least people who said stuff in the past that wasn't as politically correct. At least people are like second guessing themselves um, before they speak because they know how it affects people. I think after we had those forums over the summer, I don't know if you guys were able to attend, that BU Athletics hosted. They were very emotional and kind of raw, and I think it helped a lot of people see. But also, I appreciate that you took a leave of absence from social media, because I think a lot of people got a little post happy, and also I don't know if people were doing their research. So like you doing that instead of also, I always say this, and like my family, we talk about it too. When you keep asking Black people for the information about their trauma, it like re-hurts them. So when you do your own research, that's also helping us by not having to also be a teacher, and then you're already an ally. So that's always like really appreciated. I could say coming from the Black community, because I know when like you make those connections and you want to ask people, like, yes, that's amazing, and I'm glad you're comfortable, but also at a certain point it's like, well, I need a moment to process this too, especially with all the traumatic things last year. Black History Month is also a time of celebration of great Black figures in the present and the past. And I was just wondering if there was any standout actresses, actors, musicians, or athletes from the Black community that really stand out to you guys.
Oh, well, mine's definitely Tiger Woods. Well, he's probably the greatest, well, at least of my time, greatest golfer of my time. He, at least from what I have seen, he first of all, he's really good at golf. He has great mental, which I am trying to get there. He has perseverance. I think that's why I respect him so much. He has injuries. He's downtime, but he's always trying to pursue golf, and then he is always trying to put him at the position to win. And then I think that's very hard. Especially golf is like a solo sport, so I think you're the only. Well, you might not be, but most of the time you're your only backup, like your
Mhm.
only supporter. So I think it takes a lot for him to get there, and then he has achieved that. And then I don't think it was only talent. So for that part, I really respect him. And then also besides golf, he has his own foundation trying to give back to the community. And I think like he's not only like thinking about himself as the greatest athlete, obviously. So he's also trying to give back to the community, and I think that's something that I really value. And then, I mean, Tiger Woods is my it's my role model. Yes.
Awesome.
So since Christy took Tiger Woods, I would say Beyonce, and um, I feel like I don't really need to explain much about her. She's amazing. And
Okay, well, thank you guys so much for your time. I know we took a little bit more, but thanks for educating me on golf a little bit and kind of just talking about some of the important topics that hopefully we can bring back to SAOC this semester, if not the next semester. And you guys are awesome, and thanks for talking.
thank you for having us.
Bye.